Well, it's June the 8th. It's about 10 after 11. We're getting ready to start our day. We're probably 2 days away from our push-up Vesuvius, which takes us up into the Blue Ridge Parkway. We got about a 2,500 foot climb in about 23 miles, so that's going to be quite a workout. So we're trying to get more done today and tomorrow so that we make that as small as possible, but still have some time to get warmed up before we get there. So we're going to try to go, we're about 12 miles outside of Troutville, and we're going to try to go a few miles past Buchanan today. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty day.
Yeah, I have a feeling that climb is not going to be steep. Everybody kind of says, you know, there's 10% sections. I'm sure there'll be a section or two where it's a booger, but I think, you know, it's going to probably be very similar to out of Damascus. You know, we saw it, it looked just awful. It looked like a cliff on the elevation chart. But when you really got there, I mean, yeah, it climbed all day long, and it was tough. But it wasn't like, you know, the mountains in Kentucky where, you know, you're doing 910 feet up in 1 mile. You know, I mean, that's just insane. It's 15, you know. So I don't think it's going to be like that for 3 miles or something. Everybody talks about the switchbacks, but you have to remember that it's early, you know, their perspective. It's early in their trip, and really this is the first time they run into the mountains. So when they see, you know, something that they all talk about is switchbacks. We've seen so many switchbacks in Kentucky, and they were gnarly switchbacks. I mean, gnarly. And so they've not experienced anything like that. And so they come here, and they're on a good downhill. You know, it's one of the bigger ones they've ever done, probably in their entire cycling career. And they're switched back like crazy, and they're just think it's insane. But once they get into Kentucky, they're gonna probably be in for an awakening situation. It's sort of like Big A Mountain. Everybody talks about Big A, but that's because they hadn't really done much. They had one big one going into Damascus, and it was big, but they had never experienced anything quite as long as, which can sometimes be really bad, especially for a regular cyclist. They can only go minimum of like 3 or 4 miles an hour, and they'll just fall over. Whereas me, I can go -0. I mean, it's just, you know, I can really kind of trudge up the hill. So today looks like a good day. I feel pretty all right. I got good sleep last night, so I'm a lot less tired. And we got some Red Bull, so I've got good fuel. So I think that's it. And this thing's getting really long, and he'll have trouble getting it up. So.
Well, we got started at about 11:15. We're already over a mile into it. Alan's ahead of me right now on his way to Troutville, which is about 12.5 miles to start with. So he's already down to like 11.5 miles to get to there. Again, we're going to shoot for about 35 to 37 or something, 33 something to 37, in that range if things go well. So we'll just have to play it by ear. Again, we're trying. The further we can go right now, the better it'll be for the day right before Vesuvius. So get some rest. That's the path that takes us on up to the Blue Ridge. We're in about a 23-mile stretch. We go up over 1,500 feet. Just caught up with the man, so it's about not quite a mile and a half. Well, it's 11:35. We're let's see, what was it? Over 4.5 miles, I guess, into the ride already. Alan's just behind me, just a little bit, not a whole lot. Get a little view of what we're looking at. So we're about 7 miles outside of Troutville, somewhere like that, right? We're about 5.5 miles in. Alan's not very far behind me. And then where's some trucks just caught up to me. I'll give you a little idea of what we're seeing again. The terrain's kind of changed again. It's not so big and rolling like it was yesterday. It looks like it's still forming a lot of it. definitely kind of changed its nature. Small place up on the side. Pull off the road to get out of the way of traffic, and I'm kind of down in the valley here. It looks like corn and the railroad tracks, which we passed a cement plant not too long ago, and I think this track is here pretty much just for the cement plant. So we're about 6.5 miles into the trip. So that means we're about 6 miles out of Troutville probably. Coming back up to the main road, 779. Ellen should be coming by in maybe 5 minutes, maybe less. Well, it's about 10 minutes to 12. I think we're coming into Daleville. Turned off the main road there. I'm going to wait for Alan and say in here it looks like almost any place back home in St. Louis, I think. A little more rolling hills, I guess, but still. Back to the main road here. So hopefully I can wait maybe long enough and catch Alan as he goes by. Well, it's about 2 minutes to 12. We're at about 8.5 miles into it. We're, I think, at Daleville. It comes up the hill. It starts up another grade here. It doesn't seem to be too bad. How you doing, champ? Smile for me. Yep, we're in Daleville, town center. Just past Ellen. It is almost 12 o'clock, right on the button. We're making pretty good time so far. Let's see, we gotta make a right turn here. I wanna make sure he gets it. It's about 5 after, we're 12 on the 8th. We're just going out of Daleville towards Troutville. So we got, I think we're about 9 miles in.